Because on March 8th, a woman named Ivanna Lisette Ortiz allegedly drove all the way from Orlando, Florida, to Los Angeles with a Springfield Armory assault rifle, parked her white Tesla across from Rihanna's Beverly Crest estate, and reportedly opened fire, spraying approximately 20 rounds into the property while Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, their 3 children, Rihanna's mother, and staff members were all inside. Bullets struck the Airstream trailer where Rihanna and Rocky were reportedly sitting. 3 impacts hit the windshield and the side of that trailer. The Barbados-born billionaire told police she heard approximately 10 loud sounds like something banging on metal, grabbed Rocky out of bed, pushed them both to the ground, and then ran to check on her babies. But here's what doesn't make sense. A licensed speech pathologist from Florida somehow had the resources, the planning, the weapon, and the exact location to pull off what prosecutors are now calling a willful, deliberate attempted murder. And the internet is saying this wasn't random. Not even close. Now let me tell you what the headlines want, because that's where the real story lives. Because while every news outlet is focused on Ivanna Ortiz and her bizarre social media posts, Kanye West, the man who warned us about Diddy before anyone believed him, is allegedly pointing fingers at a much bigger name. And that name? Sources claim it allegedly connects all the way back to Beyoncé, Giselle Knowles-Carter, and Roc Nation. And when you hear what Kanye reportedly said, and when you see the pattern that people are now connecting, you're going to understand why Rihanna didn't just move houses, she reportedly fled the entire state. Let's get into all of this because trust me, by the end, you're going to see this completely differently. And wait till you hear what allegedly happened to Jay Z's last rumored mistress, because that is where this whole thing falls apart. Okay, so let me set the stage for the people who are just tuning in because there are a lot of players in this situation and the web connecting them goes back almost 2 decades. First, we have Robin Rihanna Fenty, the Grammy-winning, Fenty-founding, Barbados-born icon who is allegedly now living at a secret location with her partner, Rakeem Athalaston Mayers, better known as A$AP Rocky, and their 3 children, RZA, Riot, and Baby Rocky. Rihanna was reportedly discovered at approximately 14 or 15 years old, brought to America, and signed to Def Jam Records under the wing of Sean Corey Carter, Jay Z, in the mid-2000s. And this is where the story really begins. Then we have the alleged shooter, Ivanna Lisette Ortiz, 35, a licensed speech pathologist from Orlando, Florida. According to the Los Angeles County District Attorney, she now faces 1 count of attempted murder, 10 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling. If convicted as charged, this woman faces life in state prison. Her bail was set at just under $1.9 million. During her arraignment on March 25th, she pleaded not guilty through her attorney, County Deputy Public Defender Derek Dillman. And baby, the one sentence she allegedly told investigators after her arrest? I wasn't attempting murder. Ma'am, you reportedly drove across the country with an assault rifle and 30-round magazines. The way I had to read that line 3 times because make it make sense. Now here's where it gets spicy. On one side, you have the official narrative, lone wolf, obsessed fan, mentally unstable woman who posted bizarre things on Facebook calling Rihanna a witch and demanding the singer say something to me directly. That's the surface story. That's what the news gives you. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about. On the other side, you have a growing chorus of voices, including, allegedly, Kanye West himself, saying this was not a random act. People are pointing to the long, complicated, and allegedly dark history between Rihanna, Jay Z, and Beyoncé. And I need to be very clear here, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm presenting what's being discussed, what's been alleged, and what the internet is piecing together. And some of these connections? They are genuinely disturbing. And that's where it gets messy. Like, messy. Subsection A, the night that changed everything. Let's rewind to March 8, 2026. It's a Sunday. It's reportedly 1:15 in the afternoon, broad daylight in one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in Los Angeles. According to the Los Angeles Times, Ivanna Ortiz allegedly parked her white Tesla across from the gate of Rihanna's property, pulled out a black Springfield Armory rifle with 2 30-round magazines, and just started shooting. Not at night. Not in some back alley. In broad daylight. In Beverly, Crest, where security cameras are on every corner. According to the police report made public through court filings, Rihanna told detectives that Rocky was sleeping when she heard the shots. She grabbed him, pushed him to the ground, and they ran to the main house to check on the children. 3 bullet impacts struck the Airstream's windshield inside, but according to the report, none of the rounds penetrated the vehicle. And that right there? That's what people are latching onto. Now here's what I think is really going on in people's minds, and I'm calling this my precision theory. If you're driving from Florida to California, that's roughly 2,500 miles, with a legally purchased assault rifle and 60 rounds of ammunition, and you park directly across from a celebrity's gate and start firing, you are not confused. You are not lost. That is allegedly premeditated. Prosecutors used the exact words willful, deliberate, and premeditated. The deputy D. Alexander Bott literally said in court, "This is the kind of conduct that could have easily resulted in multiple homicides." So my question is, why? What allegedly drove a licensed speech pathologist, a woman with a professional career, to throw her entire life away to target Rihanna specifically? The police have not disclosed a motive. And that silence is loud. Are y'all hearing this? Subsection B, the Kanye connection, and right when you think you've heard the worst of it, let me bring in the man who has been trying to tell us things for years. Kanye West, the man who people called crazy for saying Diddy was dangerous, who people dismissed when he talked about industry darkness, who people locked up and medicated for speaking too loudly. That same man allegedly warned about Rihanna's situation and pointed the finger directly at Jay Z and Beyoncé. Now I'm not saying this is confirmed fact. This is what's being circulated, what's been discussed, and what Kanye has allegedly implied. He reportedly stated, and I'm paraphrasing from various sources here, that they can control LeBron James, they can control Jay Z and Beyoncé, but they can't control me. He's allegedly been warning that Rihanna should stay on high alert because, in his words, her ops would come for her again. And according to what's been reported across multiple commentary platforms, Kanye is allegedly pointing to Beyoncé and Roc Nation as being connected. Now here's my take on this, and this is just my opinion. Before Kanye went off the rails publicly, he was deeply embedded in the Jay Z and Beyoncé inner circle. He produced songs for them. He toured with them. He attended their most private events. If anyone had a front row seat to the dynamics of that relationship, it was Kanye West. So when he speaks on it, even if you think he's lost it, there's at least a kernel of lived experience behind the claims. I'm just saying, it's odd that every single thing he said about Diddy turned out to allegedly be accurate. Tell me how that makes sense. I'll wait. But wait, because it gets worse. Subsection C, the Rihanna-Jay Z history. To understand why people are making these connections, you have to go back to the beginning. And the beginning is disturbing if the allegations are true. Multiple sources, including commentator Jaguar Wright, have alleged that Rihanna was brought to America at approximately 14 or 15 years old without parental supervision. Wright alleged that Rihanna was flown on a private plane from Barbados because she wouldn't have had a visa, and that her father allegedly received a $500,000 payout. She alleged that Rihanna auditioned for Jay Z at 3 o'clock in the morning and that Jay Z would not let her leave the Def Jam offices until she signed the recording contract. And Rihanna herself spoke about this in her own interviews, smiling, but the details are chilling when you really listen. She described being nervous, singing a cappella for Jay Z, and then being told, "There are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with a deal signed, or through this window. And we're on the 29th floor." Now, this was presented as a joke. A charming anecdote. But people are now revisiting that moment and asking, is it funny? Or is it a flex of power over a child who was alone in a foreign country at 3 in the morning? And then came the affair rumors. According to Cosmopolitan's documented timeline, Beyoncé and Jay Z allegedly secretly split after rumors that Jay Z and his protege Rihanna were involved. Cheat Sheet reported that Beyoncé allegedly once kept a very close eye on Rihanna and Jay Z during the height of the cheating allegations. And to this day, And I need y'all to really sit with this. Despite Rihanna being one of Def Jam's biggest stars, despite both being arguably the two biggest women in music for over a decade, there has never been an official Beyoncé and Rihanna collaboration. Not one. In an industry where everyone features everyone, that silence speaks volumes. So let me ask you this. Where did this alleged tension start? Who allegedly benefited from keeping these two apart? Why has the narrative always been carefully managed? And more importantly, if the cheating allegations are what reportedly fueled the divide, what would an allegedly jealous spouse do when the truth finally came to light? Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. Subsection D, the Kathy White mystery, which brings me to the part nobody is talking about. Before Rihanna's shooting, there was another woman who was allegedly connected to Jay Z, and she's no longer alive to tell her story. Her name was Kathy Michelle White. According to multiple reports and the blog Hollywood Street King, Kathy was allegedly Jay Z's mistress. The blog published photos allegedly showing Kathy standing near Jay Z alongside Claudia Jordan at what appeared to be an inner circle event. The allegation was that they had been involved for some time. Here's where it gets chilling. According to what was reported by Hollywood Street King, approximately 1 year after the affair story broke, Kathy White suddenly died. Her cause of death was initially reported as a brain aneurysm. But here's the thing, the article alleged that an NYPD detective told the blog that Kathy's cause of death is uncertain and that the death is considered suspicious. The detective allegedly said it was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm killed her and that toxicology reports would take 2 weeks. And the timing? Sources allege that just 2 weeks before her death, Kathy had been contacted by a major tabloid investigating the Jay Z connection. She allegedly called Jay Z and told him she was going to go public with their affair. Then, reportedly little more than 48 hours after Beyoncé's pregnancy announcement, Kathy White allegedly died under what the NYPD detective called suspicious circumstances. And I need somebody to explain to me how that's a coincidence. Reporter Liz Cronin made waves when she tweeted about Kanye's 2018 remarks, Jay Z got killers, and alleged that he was referring to Kathy White specifically. She later posted a follow-up reportedly saying, I was the reporter who talked to your alleged mistress right before she died. I know everything. I know what you did. Now I am not saying any of this is confirmed. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm telling you what is being alleged, what is being discussed, and what the internet is now connecting to the Rihanna shooting. And when you stack all of this together, the pattern that people are pointing to is deeply unsettling. Who knew what, and when did they know it? Where is the toxicology report? Who was the tabloid? Why did the original articles about Kathy White allegedly start vanishing from the internet? And more importantly, why isn't anyone asking? Now, here's what the official story says. The police say Ivanna Ortiz acted alone. She's a mentally unstable woman from Florida who was obsessed with Rihanna, posted threatening content on Facebook, and drove across the country to carry out an attack. Case closed. Lone wolf. Move on. But let me break down why the math doesn't math for a lot of people. First, the bail. $1. 9 million. Now, for attempted murder with an assault rifle against a billionaire celebrity while children were present, that number seems surprisingly manageable. With a 10% bail bond, that's $190,000. For what prosecutors themselves call conduct that could have easily resulted in multiple homicides. Now, I'm not a legal expert, but I've seen people held on higher bail for nonviolent drug offenses. Make it make sense. Second, the weapon. Ortiz allegedly legally purchased the Springfield Armory rifle. She had it legally. She had 2 30-round magazines. She drove it across state lines. And nobody flagged anything? No system caught a woman purchasing an assault weapon and then driving 2,500 miles to a celebrity's home? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying the facts, as alleged, don't support the story being told about how seriously we take public safety. Third, and this is the one that really gets me, Rihanna's response. According to multiple reports, Rihanna didn't just switch houses. She didn't just beef up security. She allegedly fled the state to a secret location. People are saying that is not the behavior of someone who thinks a random fan acted alone. That's the behavior of someone who reportedly believes something much bigger is going on. As one person put it online, if it were an isolated incident, she would switch houses. She would not flee the state. Now, I'm not saying Beyoncé or Jay Z had anything to do with this. I need to be crystal clear about that. What I am saying is that the internet has noticed a pattern, alleged pattern, and I think it's worth discussing because that's literally what commentary is. And if you don't find the timing suspicious, that's more concerning to me than anything. Let's look at the alleged pattern people are drawing. Kathy White, Jay Z's alleged mistress, reportedly dies under suspicious circumstances right before she was going to go public. Articles about her death allegedly start disappearing from the internet. Kanye West allegedly warns about killers connected to Jay Z years ago. Fast forward to 2026, Rihanna, who has been long rumored to have been involved with Jay Z, gets her house shot up by a woman who allegedly drove across the country with military-style weaponry. And what drops in the media cycle right after? A wave of Beyoncé press coverage. As one person said online, how convenient is Rihanna getting shot at and now it's a bunch of Beyoncé press. Now, is that proof of anything? Absolutely not. But is it a question worth asking? I think so. And then there's the Beyoncé song Anger from Lemonade, the one where she recites that poem about wearing the skin of her man's deceased lover. If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine. Her hair over mine. Her hands as gloves. Her teeth as confetti. Her scalp a cap. Now, artists use dark imagery all the time. That's creative expression. But people are revisiting those lyrics in the context of everything that's been alleged and going, wait, was that art? Or was that a confession dressed up as poetry? I'm just asking questions. And if the answers were simple, they would have answered them already. Let me also address the people who are going to say I'm reaching. Look, I get it. Connecting a shooting by a disturbed individual to a broader conspiracy involving one of the most powerful couples in entertainment sounds wild. I hear you. But let me ask you this, did it sound wild when people said Diddy was dangerous? Did it sound wild when Kanye tried to warn us? Did it sound wild when people said there was something dark happening behind the velvet ropes of the music industry? In this day and age, after everything that allegedly came out, I'm not taking anything off the table. Preemptively, yes, Ivanna Ortiz appears to have a documented history of erratic behavior. Her social media posts are bizarre and threatening. She may very well be a lone actor with serious mental health challenges. And if that's the case, that raises its own set of disturbing questions about gun access, the failure of social media platforms to flag threats, and the vulnerability of public figures. Either way you slice this, the system failed Rihanna and her children. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. The real story isn't just about one woman with a gun. It's about why a woman with a gun could drive across the country and get within shooting distance of one of the most famous human beings on the planet. It's about why Rihanna reportedly doesn't feel safe. And it's about a web of allegations stretching back nearly 20 years that nobody in a position of power seems interested in untangling. And I need to pause here because we've been going hard with the analysis, and I think it's important to come back to the human element of all of this. At the end of the day, Rihanna is a mother. A$AP Rocky is a father. And those three babies, RZA, Riot, and Little Rocky, they were in that house. Rihanna's own mother was in that house. Staff members who are just people doing their jobs were in that house. Neighbors who have nothing to do with any of this were in their homes when allegedly 20 rounds were fired into a residential neighborhood on a Sunday afternoon. Thank God nobody was hurt. But nobody was hurt is not the same as nobody was traumatized. Can you imagine hearing gunshots while your children are in the next room? Can you imagine being Rihanna, grabbing the man you love off the bed, pushing him to the ground, and then running through your own home not knowing if the next bullet was going to come through the wall? As a human being, that hits different. And I think about the fact that Rihanna reportedly told police she's received death threats over social media before, but most never rose to a serious level. Think about that. She's gotten so many threats that she has a baseline for what's serious and what's not. That's not normal. No one should have to live like that. No amount of money, no number of Grammys, no size of a Fendi empire makes that okay. And this reminds me so much of what we've seen play out with other celebrities. We watched what happened with Christina Grimmie. We watched what happened with Selena Quintanilla. We've seen time and time again how parasocial obsession, this idea that fans have a personal relationship with someone they've never met, can turn deadly. And whether Ivanna Ortiz acted alone or whether, as some allege, there's something bigger going on, the result is the same. A mother and her children are reportedly hiding in an undisclosed location because their home is no longer safe. And let's talk about the mental health system for a second. If Ortiz truly was acting alone and was in a state of mental crisis, where was the intervention? She was allegedly posting threatening content on Facebook weeks before the shooting. She was calling Rihanna a witch. She was demanding the singer say something to me directly. Platforms are supposed to flag this kind of content. Systems are supposed to catch this before it escalates to assault rifles and 20 rounds in a neighborhood. And they didn't. The system failed. Whether this was allegedly orchestrated or allegedly organic, the takeaway is the same: we are not protecting people. Not the celebrities who live in fear, and not the individuals who spiral into crisis without anyone noticing until it's too late. So let me bring it all together because there is a lot to process here. 1. Ivanna Lisette Ortiz allegedly drove 2,500 miles from Florida to L.A. with an assault rifle, opened fire on Rihanna's home in broad daylight, was arrested 30 minutes later, and has now pleaded not guilty to attempted murder and 13 other felony charges. If convicted, she faces life in prison. 2. Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, their 3 children, Rihanna's mother, and multiple others were all reportedly present during the shooting. Rihanna has reportedly fled to an undisclosed location and, according to sources, believes someone powerful may have been behind this. 3. Kanye West's past warnings about Jay Z and Beyoncé are resurfacing in a major way, with people drawing alleged connections between the shooting, the long-rumored affair between Jay Z and Rihanna, and the mysterious death of Jay Z's alleged mistress Kathy White. 4. None of this is confirmed. All of these connections being drawn online are alleged, speculative, and being discussed as commentary and opinion. I am not accusing anyone of any crime. I am breaking down what the internet is talking about and asking the questions that I think deserve answers. This story is still developing, and trust me, I'm watching every move. The trial hasn't even started yet. More court documents are going to come out. More details are going to surface. And if there are connections that go beyond what we currently know, they will eventually come to light. They always do. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I know y'all caught something I didn't. Drop your theory below. I read everything. And if you haven't watched my breakdown of the Diddy situation and how Kanye tried to warn us about that too, go watch that, because this story makes more sense when you see that story. And when the next update drops, I'll be right here. You already know. Stay safe out there. Stay informed. And always remember, now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. All commentary is alleged. This is entertainment and opinion. Support creators. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye.